Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to ETS2 and welcome back to my voice. I know there's been a lot of silent trucking recently, so I thought of changing it up a bit and commenting a bit more on this truck that we just featured in the last silent trucking episode, Iveco Hi Way. Didn't expect myself driving this one, and we'll share more on that as we go along this trip. Suffice it to say, we have Kriechbaum sounds now, so that makes all the difference. I usually change trucks depending on the sound mods available. That's like the number one thing for me. And then the next is the truck mod itself. And thanks to the sounds coming into play, thanks to Kriechbaum, we are driving with this truck now. So we are driving today from Nice to Napoli. And we will be passing through the newly constructed or reconstructed Genova bridge that has been concluded recently. So for those of you who joined that event, congratulations. You should now have a new paint job, I believe. And that plush toy right there, that roller foam thingy. However you call it, you know what I mean. Anyway, alright, so let's get moving. It's going to be a long trip, almost 1,000 kilometers. If you want to hear more details of this truck, check out my previous silent trucking episode. If you want to solely focus on that one, because in this episode, we will focus on my voice. Be scared. Anyway, hopefully that volume is enough. Not too loud, not too soft. You let me know. I did change up the truck a bit from the previous configuration in the silent trucking one. So we're hauling 21 tons of beverages right now in our own trailer. Very nice color combination, monotone or monochromatic tone here. I like the gray, different gray shades. 50 Shades of Grey truck. Maybe that's a different one. Definitely not a crap Iveco though. I'm now a believer. Right. There we go. So changed a couple of things. In the silent trucking episode, I was using a manual interior. This is Schumi's truck. Schumi improves this truck a ton because the default offerings for this truck are very lacking, and that's one of the reasons why I stayed away from this truck. But thank goodness to our amazing modding community, we are actually now able to drive with quality both in the sound and visual department. And that's almost true with any of the mods that we're using. It's amazing. So I changed it to automatic transmission. That's why you see a DNR there now. And I also changed the transmission. In the silent trucking episode, we were using an a ZF 12 speed. But this time, I switched to an Allison transmission, a true automatic with torque converters and everything. And that's why you see we are at a very low gear. This one actually only has 3 levels. Well, 6 levels, 6 gears. But should be more than enough for the job. Slow down here, this hump is pretty steep. Actually damaged my truck here a while ago. And until now, I'm still hitting it, even at a very slow speed. But I like this transmission because it lets you hear more of the engine as it revs up. There's less shifting going around because there are less gears. It also seems to be shifting at a higher rev. Normally I would expect around 1500 RPMs is when it would shift. But I guess with an Allison transmission, the torque, the rev range is a bit different. You also don't hear the shifting anymore. There is no sound, that gear shift sound. than Allison transmission because it's a true automatic transmission now. From what I hear from you guys, as I read through the SCS forums, there is a manual transmission, there is like a manual auto transmission, and there's a real auto transmission. Don't take my terms as the real technical terms, but in essence, that is how I understand it. There's the manual transmission where you have the gear shift, the shifter, and do the shifting yourself. There is like an automated manual transmission where behind the scenes the gears and all the underlying parts are similar to a manual transmission, but in addition there is an automatic, there's like a computer that does the shifting for you, so it's automated, but the architecture, the underlying parts are still manual transmission, so it's just a computer helping you shift. And there is the real automatic transmission, which has a very different design than the manual transmission. It has torque converter and everything. And for this particular setup, I am using the real automatic transmission, that the Allison transmission to be specific. Nice stadium, I should say. By the way, the graphics mod, if you're wondering, maybe you're not even noticing any graphics mod right now. That's because I'm using the Project Next Gen Photorealistic experience. So I started moving away for now. Let's close the windows, it's getting too loud. Started moving away from Natural Lux because Natural Lux is not compatible officially with 1.37. Kirill has not been active so far. I think he has some real life stuff going on at the moment, so we'll give him some space. And I wanted to use a mod that is more accessible to people, so that's why I came up with that ATS graphics mods showdown the other week. But even with that, I was still not sure which mod I wanted, and so I've been looking, and I came upon, so I was exploring the free mods. I couldn't find exactly what I wanted, so I started getting into the payware mods, and that's when I found two mods that were possible, two payware mods that were very promising. The JBX version 2, which a lot of people have been recommending to me, and Project Next Gen Photorealistic Experience, PNG PE, you could abbreviate it. Now this is not the same as in PNG 2.0 because that 2.0 version is free. This one has much more content in there. So this is the next level, and currently is still payware, but I'm not sure. I think there are plans on improving it in the future. I'm not so sure, but I think that is the overall plan. So yeah, right now I checked it. I did check some videos, and I really liked what I saw in Project Next Gen Photorealistic Experience, PNGPE. Like, I know a lot of people have been recommending the JBX version 2, but for some reason the lighting did not appeal to me that much. Like, it had amazing skyboxes, but the lighting for me personally was a bit artificial. I don't know why, but that's what I noticed from the videos. I know a lot of people like it, and that this is very subjective, so there's no like one real definition of realistic in graphics and in audio specifically. So if anything, if I were to take anything from your comments with the ATS mods, graphics mods showdown, that is, there is no one true answer. There is only the one true answer for you. So yeah, so many different opinions, so many different interesting insights. this is realistic, this is realistic, so many different answers. And yeah, for me, the JBX V2 was not so much on the realistic look. But when I saw the a video of PNGPE from Fox on the box, I think he was, that certainly appealed to me. And this is why, this is what we have enabled right now. So we have very nice skyboxes. They're not like jaw-dropping skyboxes. They're just nice to look at, very nice cloud formations. But what I really like is the natural effect. Very, very rightly balanced in my opinion. So I think we are going with this in the coming future. Wow. Engine is having a hard time here. Maybe choosing Allison transmission isn't the best in this case. 105 liters per 100 kilometers at the moment. Current fuel consumption. Yikes. Well, we are going uphill and we have not yet reached the cruising altitude, cruising speed. So let's give it some time. Once we pick up and get to the around 80 kilometer speed, that's when we should reach overdrive. That's when the, how do you call it, like that clutch in the automatic transmission would kick in and we would be cruising, and that's when the real fuel economy can be measured. Alright, here we go, 80. That's it. So how is it now? 0. See? Well, it's downhill, so it's a bit different. Alright, but I have to keep my eyes peeled for the Genova bridge. I look at the skybox. Very nice, right? Nothing too fancy, but very natural looking, and the lighting is almost default, just a bit tuned. But yeah, I really like it. It's very natural. I'm basing on the comments in the past videos where I enabled this. You seem to like it very much too, and that's great to hear. Oh, slow down here. And yes, a lot of you agree that it's very natural sounding, very natural looking rather. Slow down here a bit. Not even stepping on the brakes. I'm trying something out. Trying out this cruise control. Oh, I'm on the wrong lane, not the E-Pass thing. I'm trying to make use more of the cruise control. If you go to your key bindings, look at cruise control, you will find a lot of cruise control options. I have not been enabling those before. I only was using the cruise control on and off, and sometimes the increase and decrease speed. But it's very useful because if you, for example, turn it on now, it will catch your current speed. We're currently at 50 kilometers per hour. If you look at the CC, the upper left of the dashboard, the computer, 57, right? And then using the increase decrease, I can do that in 5 kilometer per hour increments. So I can stay in cruise control and just increase or decrease the speed, and it will enable the retarder as needed or accelerate as necessary. So that's very convenient for when on the highway and doing some minor changes in the speed. But in addition to that, there's this resume cruise control thing, where if I let go, if I remove the cruise control, for example, I had to stop suddenly, brake suddenly, and then the road clears off and I can resume, I don't have to accelerate manually like this one. Looks like there's an accident up ahead. Let's move here. The AI acting up again. There you go. Alright, so for example now, instead of having to go to 80 myself, I can just press that resume cruise control option and it immediately tracks the last cruise control speed I was at, so I can go again and cruise on the highway. So that takes a bit of workload away from managing my speed manually. And so I can focus more on the road, enjoy more sightseeing, be more attentive to the signs and all that stuff. You know, it's basically the same concept as in autopilot for flying. The autopilot is there so you can focus on the more essential things. And you don't have to be completely focused on flying the plane, or in this case driving the truck, that you don't notice the things happening around you. Situational awareness. So that's going to help. And now I map the keys, so I'm using all the cruise control options now. Very useful. Okay, how are we doing on fuel economy? 35.6 on average. Let's reset that. There's also a reset button for the current trip. You find all those hidden gems in the key bindings right here. Do it that way. Okay, Genova is to the right. Let me check the map here. I don't think we need to enter. Yeah, that's going inside. That's the bridge that's newly built, I would guess. I think so. But we should be passing through Genova pretty soon. Let's wait for that. So in terms of mods, Kriechbaum for sounds, Schumi for the truck, and Oscar or NFSHP for the dashboard. For the more realistic dashboard. I think this is where it stopped before. This is the under construction before you enter this tunnel. Yes, this is definitely the fixed area. And then now we pass through Genova itself. I love that effect as the exposure changes. Beautiful. There we go. Did they change how it looks even? It seems like it. It looks like we'll be passing through this famous, what do you call it? This famous bend in Genoa. This one. Oh, I absolutely love this. To take a photo here, but I'm not sure how. Oh, let me see. Maybe something like that. It looks so good from here. Let's go to exterior view a bit. Let me try and see if I won't crash. Look at that beauty. That's all thanks to us, guys. That is all thanks to us. Amazing work, everybody who joined the Operation Genova event. That looks even more beautiful now that it's constructed. Awesome. Only thing that's not beautiful, these merging AI cars. Let's help them a bit. And now they start merging. Okay. Alright. If you want more of the engine sounds, and also so we can hear a bit more of the F-mod sounds from the outside. Because I really like that. Like, when they updated to F-mod, when SCS updated to F-mod, the sounds got a huge boost, huge bump in terms of the AI sounds, the environment sounds, and everything except the truck sounds. We all know, I guess we would all agree, the truck sounds are not the best by default. But thanks to our mods that got fixed, although to SCS's credit, the AI sounds, the traffic from outside, that sounds a lot better now, including the trains, the level crossings, and all that stuff. Very nice, very pleasant to the ears. As I was driving yesterday doing that silent trucking video, I really enjoyed it. So we were driving through some country roads in Poland, very nice sceneries, and as each of the cars were passing us by, it was very realistic, very immersive feel. This is beautiful. And yes, by the way, Project Next Gen Photorealistic Experience, it does not only change the skybox for ETS2, it also changes textures and the foliage. So the trees, the road textures, they are all different. And the grass, So you might have noticed that in the video yesterday, the effect of the texture changes are most apparent in Poland, because I think Damian, the mod author, is Polish. That's what I think. He is a real truck driver for sure, because he told me. I think he's Polish, and he has a lot of focus on the Polish roads and even the signages he improved. So if you are interested in getting this mod for yourself, he has a Facebook page with more details. Check out the mods list link in the video description for the link to his Facebook. And it costs €9.99. So a bit pricey for some. So if you are not willing to spend, you can wait for the I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but I think it will be released for free eventually. It's just that it's still in early access right now. And yes, it is very much in early access. I had to delete some files manually in the base file. The base file is where the road textures are, the lamp road, the textures are basically. So there are 3 files: base, vegetation, and weather. They are as implied. Weather is the skybox and the lighting, vegetation are the trees, and base is everything else: roads, lamps, lights, all that stuff. In the base, it's a bit buggy at the moment, especially if you have ProMods enabled. There are some conflicting objects, some outdated objects, and so whenever my game would crash initially, and yes, I had a couple of crashes, you might have seen that in the stream last week when I first tried it, I had to, so the game would crash, I would go and change the game log, or check the game log, and then I would look for the file, the thing that it was looking for that was causing the error in the game log, and then I would look for that file inside the base file of Project Next Gen, PRE, and then I would delete it. Because oftentimes I would see there are some outdated objects, like, I don't know, before DX11, pre 1.35 maybe. So there were some old objects in there that were too old, that could not be used anymore, something to that effect. And so I just deleted it. And now I have a mostly error-free experience. I've been driving for a few hours, and everything looks good so far, but we'll see. If you had some keen eyes though, if you watched the entire video yesterday, Silent Trucking, with this Iveco, you would have noticed at one point we came across some lampposts, and the lampposts were red. That means the textures were not found, or were in error. And that has most likely something to do with some conflicts, some old objects again in the base file. So it looks like I still have some cleaning up to do. Yeah, that's how it is. It's still in early access. It's still the unrefined version. So if you're a more software inclined technical guy and you're okay with tweaking with the files, then that might be something you like. But if you just like a plug and play experience, I would not recommend getting Project Next Gen yet, the paid version, because it requires a lot of tinkering. So for me that's okay, for me that's perfect. But yeah, let's see. I'm looking at the fuel economy. Not very fuel efficient, not as fuel efficient as I would have hoped. We are at 29.4 though, and increasing, so maybe it's not that bad. Let's see, the longer we are on the highway, the better that should be. See, we're only at 5th gear right now. 5th gear in around 1200 RPMs. That means we can even go to 6th gear. And maybe if we go to 90 kilometers per hour, for example, if we're in France or in Belgium, where 90 kilometers is the more common speed for highways, we would still be very efficient, or maybe would be even more efficient. We'll try later. We'll go to 90, even if legally we should only stick to 80. Everyone keep quiet. Nobody tell anyone anything. Telepass. Okay, these yellow lanes. Other mods I have, SIPS traffic density. I also have enabled. Okay, that looks good. You see, I'm only working with cruise control. I never let go of it this time. I just was manipulating the speed, which I guess is how it works in the modern trucks nowadays anyway. They have cruise control and they can change the speed at will. They even have this adaptive cruise control, right? I think that's what the device is for, that black device to the left of the compass. I think that's what it's for. So it would detect the car in front and it would match the speed, so you won't be at risk of smashing into the car in front of you. So the cruise control changes, hence the term adaptive cruise control. Now we don't have that yet in game, that's not implemented yet, but we can do that manually by playing with the speed here. If you see that we're coming too close to the car in front, just change the speed. So no need to do all those maneuvers with the engine brake or service brakes, retarder, manual. It's more automated. So that is certainly an option to play and to simulate real life trucking. If you're more the old school type, old fashioned type, then that's perfectly fine. Don't use cruise control at all, or maybe prefer to manually brake. I tend to have my moods. For American truck sim, I usually prefer having manual transmission, the full 18-speed Eaton Fuller transmission, where I shift things myself, splitting, changing ranges, engine braking. The only automation I use is the cruise control and only the fixed cruise control. But the braking and everything I do manually. I feel like that's more the way it is with American trucks. And I feel like in European trucks it's more automated. That's my impression anyway. Which is quite interesting actually, because I think for real cars, if you're driving with a normal car in the European versus US roads, it's the complete opposite, isn't it? Because in Europe, cars are mostly still manual, I think. Last time I checked, there are still many manual cars out there. And in the US, it's mostly automatic. Very opposite. I wonder why. Yeah, very opposite setups. Although I guess nowadays even the trucks in the US are getting automatic as well, so maybe it's not that different anymore. You have these starting either the Allison transmission, which is the real automatic, or true automatic, and these automated Eaton Fuller transmissions, which I think have the same Eaton Fuller gear layout under the hood, but have a computer in addition to manage the shifting. It's just so cool reading about, watching about these things, learning about them in more detail, finally getting a bit of understanding. I still don't know enough to weigh in on stuff, but I think I am a little bit knowledgeable more now than I was before. So I'm starting to learn about the underlying mechanisms, which is so cool. It's so cool. So nice learning about these things. How are we in terms of the trip? Trip-wise, we are 460 kilometers away, so I think we're almost halfway mark. So I'll probably end it here. Let's do one more. Yeah, one more stop. So let's look for the next one. Too bad we're still in 137 in ETS2. Actually, that would have been the perfect stopping point, huh? Is it too late to stop there? Let me see if I can still exit to the right. I think I might be too fast. Oh! No one saw anything. Let's leave it there. Okay. Alright, we will continue next episode, guys. But I'm trying to make it more manageable for people to watch the episodes, so hence the the less length. But if you want lengthier episodes, let me know. I'll happily record longer episodes for you. Anyway, just a short trip so I can catch up with you and talk. It's been a while, so thanks for watching. Have a nice day and catch you in the next one, guys. Looking forward to your comments. Bye bye.